Everyone agrees on the wasp. It is the one insect almost nobody defends. The bee makes honey, so we forgive its sting. The wasp makes nothing, we think. It just ruins your lunch, guards your roof, and hurts you for no reason. If every wasp on Earth vanished tomorrow, most people would call it good news. Here is the problem with that wish. If the wasps actually disappeared from your garden, you would not get a calmer, cleaner yard. You would get an invasion. The plants would be stripped, the pests would explode, and the peaceful garden you imagined would quietly fall apart. The most hated insect in your backyard is doing a job you never thanked it for, and the day it stops is the day you find out what it was holding back. This is entry number 4 in the Untamed Index. Let's open the file on the wasp. Start with the case against the wasp, because it is easy to make. It stings, and unlike a honeybee, it can sting you again and again without dying. It shows up at your food. It builds a paper nest under your roof and gets angry when you go near it. Next to the friendly, fuzzy, honey-making bee, the wasp looks like a pest with a weapon and no purpose. So people ask a fair question: what is the wasp actually for? What would we lose if they were gone? For a long time, even scientists could not answer that well because wasps were barely studied compared to bees. But when researchers finally added up what wasps do, the picture flipped completely. The insect we treat as useless turned out to be one of the hardest working animals in the whole garden. To see why, you have to stop looking at the one wasp bothering your drink and look at what the whole colony is carrying home. Here is the fact that breaks the myth. A social wasp, the common kind that builds those paper nests, is a predator, not a scavenger that only wants your soda. A hunter. All summer long, the workers fly out, catch other insects, and carry them back to feed the young in the nest. Caterpillars, greenfly, aphids, flies, the exact bugs that eat your plants. And the scale is hard to believe. Researchers estimated that in Britain alone, social wasps catch around 14 million kilograms of insect prey every summer. That is millions of kilos of caterpillars and garden pests removed from gardens and farms for free by an animal you were trying to swat. Scientists have a name for what the wasp is in the insect world: an apex predator. The same phrase we use for lions and sharks. In the miniature world of your garden, the wasp sits at the top of the food chain and it keeps everything below it in check. Now think about what happens if you remove the top predator. It is the same thing that happens when you remove wolves from a forest. The animals they used to eat are suddenly free to multiply with nothing to stop them. Take the wasps out of your garden, and the caterpillars and aphids they were hunting do not politely stay the same. They boom. This is not a guess. We have watched it happen the other way around. In New Zealand, common wasps were brought in by accident, with no natural controls. They stripped so many caterpillars and insects out of the forests that native birds, who needed that same food, started to decline. That is the power of the wasp as a hunter, just pointed in the wrong direction. It shows you exactly how much a wasp population moves an ecosystem. Add too many and a forest empties. Take them all away and the pests take over. If the wasp is this useful, why is its reputation this bad? Part of it is simple timing. You never notice the wasp doing its job. All that hunting happens quietly, out in the leaves, in early summer, while the colony is feeding babies. You do not see the thousands of pests it carried away. You only meet the wasp at the very end of summer, in late season, when the nest is winding down and the hungry workers come looking for sugar. That is the wasp at your picnic. You are meeting it on its worst day and judging its whole life by it. Part of it is the bee. The honeybee got a brilliant reputation because it makes something we can eat and sell. So we call bees good and wasps bad. But here is what most people never learn. Wasps are pollinators too. When they visit flowers for sugar, they move pollen, just like bees. Researchers found wasps visiting hundreds of plant species, and some plants, including certain orchids, are so tied to wasps that they cannot be pollinated without them. There is even an entire type of fruit, the fig, that depends on a special wasp to exist at all. No fig wasp, no figs. And there is one more hidden job. When a wasp scavenges that piece of meat off your plate, or cleans up a dead insect on the ground, it is doing the work of a garbage crew. Wasps help clear away dead animal and plant matter, which speeds up rot and returns nutrients to the soil. The behavior you find most annoying, the wasp going after your food, is the same instinct that makes it a cleaner of the natural world. So the wasp is a hunter, a pollinator, and a cleanup crew, all in one body. We just never gave it credit for any of the three. So let's close the file. Does the wasp do anything useful? Yes. It is an apex predator that removes millions of kilos of garden pests every summer for free. Is it just a worse bee? No. It pollinates flowers too, and some plants and even the fig cannot survive without wasps at all. Would your garden be better without them? The opposite. Pull out the top predator and the pests it was hunting explode, the same way New Zealand's forests emptied when the balance broke. The wasp is the perfect Untamed Index creature. We judged it by the one moment it annoys us, the sting at the end of summer, and we missed the entire life behind it. All season, it was working as the security, the pollinator, and the cleanup crew of your backyard asking for nothing. The scariest version of an animal is almost never the true one. The wasp is not the pointless bully we made it out to be. It is the reason your garden was not overrun in the first place. You just never saw the war it was winning for you. So the next time one lands on your table, before you swing, remember what your garden looks like without it. That was entry number 4 in the Untamed Index. Every week we open a new file on a creature you think you already understand and find out you don't. Next entry, we are not looking at one animal. We are looking under your feet. Because the moment the sun goes down, the quiet patch of grass in your yard turns into one of the busiest cities on Earth, and you have never seen a second of it. Next time, we open the file on what really happens under your lawn at night. Subscribe and build the index with us.